I call to order the Calexico City Council, Calexico Redevelopment Successor Agency, Calexico Financing Authority regular meeting agenda. Today, Wednesday, November 18, 2020 at 6:32. City Clerk?
Due to the declaration of emergency, this meeting is being held pursuant to authorization from the Governor's executive orders. Some or all of the City Council members may participate in this meeting by teleconference as authorized by Executive Order N29-20 issued by the Governor of California on March 17, 2020. Until further notice, there will be no public access to City Council meetings. However, public participation is available in the following ways. Members of the public are encouraged to watch the meeting via live stream on communityspectrum.org/live at 6:30 p.m. or via the Calexico City Hall Facebook page. You may also join the open session via Zoom on your tablet or iPad and the passcode for this is 088788. You may join by phone. The webinar ID is 979-1518-0540. Or the passcode is 088788. You may submit your public comments via email by 4 p.m. on Wednesday, November 18 to ggarcia@calexico.ca.gov. These comments will be read aloud during the meeting. You can make a public comment via Zoom by submitting the request via Zoom chat. Persons may submit the name and section of the agenda they wish to speak on as public comments or state the agenda number you wish to speak on.
Ready? City Clerk, roll call, please.
Mayor Arreola Fernandez is absent. Mayor Pro Tem Bryson?
Here.
Councilmember Pacheco is absent. Councilmember Garcia?
Here.
Councilmember Hodge?
Here.
We have a quorum, sir.
Thank you. Would you rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I will start. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The mission statement.
Together, we pledge to provide effective education services in a courteous and respectful manner to improve the quality of life for all in our unique border community. Viva Calexico.
Mr. Hodge.
Okay.
Location, please.
Dear Lord, thank you for your love and grace and guidance. We ask you to inspire and guide us during this meeting. May we, through you, make the wise choices for our community. In the name of our Father, amen.
Okay, we need approval of the agenda.
I'll make that approval, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you. Clerk?
Mayor Jose Arreola Fernandez is absent. Mayor Pro Tem Bryson?
Aye.
Councilmember Pacheco is absent. Councilmember Garcia?
Aye.
Councilmember Hodge?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-2.
Okay, we have presentation, proclamation for the Farm Worker Appreciation Week, November 29, 2020 through December 5th, 2020.
I can read Pacheco's part. Okay.
Okay. Whereas agriculture has traditionally been the backbone of the economy of the Imperial Valley, and
Whereas Imperial Valley farm workers have tilled the soil, sowed the seed, and harvested the crops of this rich agricultural area, and whereas these workers in the agricultural industry have provided food in abundance for the people in cities, the nation, and world, have this contributed greatly to the economy of Calexico and the Imperial Valley. And
Whereas the Calexico City Council recognizes the contribution which these migratory workers and the agricultural industry have made to our community, and whereas the Calexico City Council believes in the dignity of tilling the soil and tending the crops, and
whereas the City Council recognizes agriculture will continue to play a strong role in our community's economy, and
now therefore be it resolved that I, Morris Risen, Mayor Pro Tem of the City of Calexico, on behalf of the Calexico City Council, do hereby proclaim this week of November 29th, 2020 through December 5th, 2020 as Farm Worker Appreciation Week. A witness thereof, I hereon affix my signature and official seal of the City of Calexico the 18th day of November 2020.
very good.
Bring it down. Oh, get a name here. Let me get her name. What do we do with it here? Oh, would you please?
Ms. Elvira Naya?
Give us a name here.
Yes.
Well, thank you once again.
another microphone
I'm loud enough.
so they can hear you also.
I wanted to thank again the City Council, Mr. Rice and Mayor Pro Tem, council members. Again, my name is Elvira Anaya. I am the Center Director for Center for Employment Training, and I'm also the Chair of the Farm Worker Services Coalition, Chair of the Committee for the Farm Worker Breakfast. This would have been our 41st annual Farm Worker Appreciation Breakfast were it not for our current status of events. What we will be doing instead, since we do not want to let this occasion pass by without recognizing the farm workers, I first want to thank you all for the proclamation. We wanted to make sure that this got done as part of our way to appreciate the local farm workers. We're also going to be, and I would like to invite, and we'll be doing this in a formal email, invite members of the community to help us distribute what we usually give the farm workers at the breakfast is our goodie bag with some gifts and some resources for the community. So this year we're going to be giving them out, and we're going to be including face masks and hand sanitizer and those type of PPE so that the farm workers can just practice more safety and more more safety while they're at work. We're giving them quite a few of them so that they have enough of them to last throughout the workday and even to distribute to their families. So we're taking donations now, and we will be sending out emails to the different agencies for volunteers to help us put the goodie bags together. And also what we'll be doing that day, it's Friday, December 4th, from 3 to 5 in the morning. We will be distributing the goodie bags at the different drop-off sites or pickup sites where the farm workers get picked up for work. So we'll be doing that from 3 to 5 in the morning. So we'll be I'm extending an invitation for any of you who'd like to join us. I know Camilo has joined every year, Councilmember Garcia. So anyone that would also like to join us for that day, I know Loli was going to get a hold of you, Chalo, so so we're going to be We're going to be needing assistance from, and we appreciate the help that the city brings to this worthy event. So thank you very much for the proclamation, and we appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. for
Thank
coming.
you.
I can
Thank
just add, I want to thank you also. I know you have been a very important, person and just keeping this going. And I know that every year, usually got better. Unfortunately, this time, because of this health emergency, it might be a little bit different, but it's part of our new reality that we always talk about.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that, this is gonna be somehow still remembered and celebrated. We need to recognize our farm workers. So this, I plan to be there. This will
Thank
be my 19th year, so coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you for what you did.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No tamales this year, sorry.
Oh, well. Okay, moving on. Thank you again. Moving on, coronavirus COVID-19 update by Police Chief Gerardo.
It's actually fire chief, sir. I'm just cleaning.
Oh, and Fire Chief Diego Fabio.
Good evening, Honorable City Council, staff that's here tonight, and the citizens that are watching via our electronic devices and channels. Today's update on COVID tests, I'm going to start off with the flu shot vaccinations. Here locally in Calexico, there are several doctors that are offering them, and the pharmacies at Rite Aid are offering the flu shot. The flu shot's also being offered at the Walmart, and I want to believe the CVS that's on 2nd Street is awesome. We want to have a big push for the individuals of the city of Calexico to go ahead and get this flu shot. As far as the COVID test, there is several doctors that are still providing those tests in their office. In Calexico's Dr. Bo's office, and for the county, they still have the Brawley Optimum Service one open in Brawley. As far as for the county grand scheme of things for the flu shots is November 21st at the fairgrounds, and that's going to start at 7 o'clock in the morning, and that's going to go up until 10 o'clock. Imperial County remains in the purple tier, and we were joined by 41 other counties, as you guys may have heard. 41 other counties that were in different color, different tier, were all dropped back down to purple. So we're no longer, at one point there was only 4 of us in the purple, so now there's more of us. The numbers for for the city of Calexico is 4,490. The active cases are 275. Our recovered number is 4,094, and our deaths are at 121. And that's your quick update. We just want to remember to stay diligent, use your mask.
What's sort of the attitude or plan for Thanksgiving?
The CDC and the Imperial County have given out guidelines of not more than 2 different families in a household. The numbers are between 5 and 10 that are allowed. Bring separate food, separate containers. Keep your stands to a minimal 6 feet in clearance, and they're saying to say that Thanksgiving dinner should only be an hour or so.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough Thanksgiving for a lot of these families.
Yeah.
Chief, is there any changes on essential businesses closing, like, I know we have bars and restaurants, and they're only allowing 25% if you stay outside. Any other changes?
Not at this time, yeah. I think we're at the lowest we can get right now.
We're gonna maintain that?
Yes, we can maintain the purple for a while.
That was my question.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Chalo, anything to say?
Good evening, Honorable Council and people in the audience and our citizens of Calexico. This has got nothing to do with COVID, because usually COVID is the fire chiefs, unless it affects law enforcement. Anyways, we are, this Saturday at 8 o'clock, we're meeting at the Calexico Police Department. We're having a graffiti cleanup, paint over. We do have some spots that we've already identified. Sergeant Legaspi is the one that's spearheading this event. If you want to volunteer and show up at 8 o'clock. We will be going to the different sites that we have, like I said, gone out and pinpointed. You will have to fill out a form, just a release of liability form for the city of Calexico. We do have a lot of people that are coming out, that they've made their reservations, or they told us they're coming. And we'll give you a full report before and after report that I'll send an email to Mr. Figueroa, and we'll share it with the council. But we are going to practice our distance. We're going to be outside. The police department will be providing our masks, gloves, and all the equipment. We've had some businesses donate a lot of paint, so we can go over some of the areas that are hit and more noticeable in town. And that's all I got for you.
Don't forget the Pizza Hut, the old Pizza Hut.
And yes, that's Mr. Figueroa. We already got that was one of the first ones that we looked at.
That's very good to hear that we're doing that.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We'll be there. Oh, I'll be there.
Very good. Okay, City Clerk, please read announcements.
These proceedings may be viewed on the City of Calexico website at www.calexico.ca.gov the Friday following the City Council meeting. Community office hours with Mayor Adriana Fernandez are suspended until further notice due to coronavirus COVID-19.
Any public comments or public appearance?
Yes. This is a time for the public to address the City Council on any item not appearing on the agenda that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. During the current state of emergency, public comments will be received the following ways. You may submit public comments via email by 4 p.m. on Wednesday, November 18 to ggarcia@calexico.ca.gov. These comments will be read aloud during the meeting and entered into the record. Public may also speak live via Zoom by submitting a request on Zoom chat. Persons can submit their name and state whether they want to speak under public comments or submit the agenda item. Any comments received during or after the meeting will be distributed to the City Council and retained for the official record. The City Council will be prohibited by state law from taking action or discussing items not included on the printed agenda. And we have one person at this time who wishes to speak, and it's Mr. Alberto Alviso. We are requesting that he unmute. Mr. Alviso?
Sí, buenas noches.
Adelante.
Buenas noches.
Ya puede hablar, señor Alviso. Lo estamos escuchando.
Bueno, parece que tiene algo de retraso aquí cuando uno habla, pero voy a hablar lo más breve posible. Bueno, quería aprovechar este momento para decirles a todos los quería aprovechar para decirle a las personas ahí presentes y en lo municipal, al señor Morris y al señor Hodge, muchas gracias por el intento de ayuda que quisieron darle a los trabajadores de Santo Tomás, pero la verdad no fue suficiente. Queríamos más, esperábamos más de todos los que estaban ahí presentes, pero realmente no se pudo más. No sé cómo van a estar las elecciones este año, no sé si ustedes van a seguir o no van a seguir ahí en esta silla, pero quería aprovechar
perdiéramos mucho la forma de sustentar a nuestras familias y que perdiéramos, mucha gente perdió sus casas y su trabajo y sus carros. Y eso es muy triste. Yo no sé si usted vaya a seguir también aquí en esta silla, pero el propósito de decirle esto hoy es de que si van a seguir, Calexico tiene un gran futuro todavía si se lo proponen, y proponen hacer las decisiones correctas y ayudar realmente a la gente como se debe. Ahorita escuchando los comentarios del señor Gonzalo Gerardo, dice que muchos comercios apoyaron con pintura para poder volver a limpiar a la ciudad, y me da gusto escuchar que muchos comerciantes apoyen, pero al mismo tiempo me da tristeza que otros comerciantes que pudieron haber apoyado no puedan esta vez porque realmente no tienen por qué. Al señor Camilo García, pues la vez pasada hablé y le dije por error Camilo Romero, me disculpo por eso.
15
Señor
seconds.
Camilo García, yo sé que usted es nuevo aquí y de veras esperamos que sus decisiones a futuro traigan buenos momentos para la gente de Calexico, para los negocios y un buen futuro. Agradezco su tiempo y pues realmente creo en un futuro para Calexico y creo en la prosperidad para los negocios. Y estamos dispuestos, la gente de Calexico, a seguir trabajando para luchar, para lograr eso. Muchas gracias.
Ms. Carmen Durazo. Ms. Durazo. Ms. Durazo, can you hear us? We've asked her to unmute. Hello? Okay. She's,
We do have another gentleman who would like to speak, but he didn't give us a name, so I'm just gonna call him by his birth name.
we're requesting that DLA respond. Ms. Durazo, are you there?
We're trying the next person coming up.
Hello? Hello? Sir? Will you please state your name for the record? Hello, sir. Will you please state your name for the record? Okay.
We'll wait for them if they interject. Okay, right now, in the city manager's report.
Nothing to report, Mayor Pro Tem.
No?
Nothing at this time.
Okay, thank you. Okay, city council comments and reports.
Morris. I did have a chance to attend the Veterans program this past Veterans Day, and the mayor was there, and Councilmember Garcia was also present, plus veterans, and everybody was giving speeches and proclamations. I read a proclamation, and it was a very, very nice event. But what hit me was the last comment given by Mr. Vindiola when he read a poem, and it just stuck with me. So it's very short, but I'd like to read it. It's a poem by Charles M. Province, and it's called "It Is the Soldier." It is the soldier, not the minister, who has given us freedom of religion. It is the soldier, not the reporter, who has given us freedom of the press. It is the soldier, not the poet, who has given us freedom of speech. It is the soldier, not the campus organizer, who has given us freedom of protest. It is the soldier, not the lawyer, who has given us the right to a fair trial. It is the soldier, not the politician, who has given us the right to vote. It is the soldier who salutes the flag, who serves beneath the flag, and whose coffin is draped by the flag, who allows the protester to burn the flag. Very, very strong and very poignant points that we need to thank our veterans when we see them anywhere. That's all I have. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Garcia.
Yeah, just like Mr. Councilman Pacheco stated, I had the fortune to attend that also the veteran celebration, and that I actually had a chance to go and participate in the caravan that they had, which was something I guess that they didn't plan, but it came out really nice. So I was very happy to participate in that. The ceremony after that, it was really touching. It was very, very just significant. So it's something that we have to remember. For that's what I have at this time. Later on, I will add to my comments. Mayor Pro Tem, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Garcia. Councilman Hodge.
Yes, I have a speech written out pertaining to the new city council members. I'd like to read it. The people have spoken, and they have elected 4 new council members. Personally, I want to wish them the very best in their new duties and responsibilities in serving the community. I hope they are successful in achieving their vision and goals. But in my opinion, they have to demonstrate certain attributes and characteristics to be successful. The virtue of patience is a very important one, especially in government. Other attributes and characteristics that are important for success are persistence, collaboration, teamwork, compromise, and strong leadership. The one characteristic that will most likely result in a councilman's failure in vision and goals is to play the lone wolf. You can't do it alone. You have to have teamwork. To pass any ordinance, at least you need a 3-vote count. Also, my suggestion is to refrain from being egotistical and arrogant. These are not positive attributes and may lead to division, resentment, and rancor on the council. I was proud to serve on a council that was collegial and respectful to each other. I hope you follow that example. Always be thankful to the city staff. They work very hard for the community and on your behalf. They have made many sacrifices. I will derive satisfaction for the whole present council on being vindicated from the notion that this council and staff didn't care or work hard for the community. Once you enter into City Hall, you will realize how we cared and worked very hard for the community. This There will be no specific individuals that will be obstacles in your achieving your goals or projects. I studied sociology for 2 years, and I can say with confidence that the obstacles you will face are more institutional and bureaucratic. The wheels of government move slowly, but don't despair. You can eventually get results. Change in government, for the most part, is not rapid. Your idealism will wane. Once you are confronted with city bureaucracy, most of your projects or goals will be greeted with a collective no. No, we can't do that because of our budget. No, because we have no money or resources or staff or time. But with your persistence and strategies, you can eventually get results. It just takes time, sometimes a very long time, to get results. What I am pointing out are not excuses for change, but realities. Change is good. Change is necessary. But what you will find is change in government proceeds at a slow pace. This does not mean you should not try, but of course you should. And with sheer determination, persistence, and compromise, you can in due time achieve results. So I say to the new council, come in strong, be humble to learn, be pragmatic, and yet not be afraid to think out of the box. Once again, I wish you great success. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Hodge. For myself, I'd like to answer Mr. Arvizo's comments. Is he still on the line? Yeah. Mr. Arvizo, do you speak English?
He's not on the line, he's just watching.
Okay. The fire started in December of last year, in 2018, and I wasn't in the council at that time. But Councilman Hodge and myself tried. We tried and tried to get you guys together and get that thing open again, the Santo Tomas. Unfortunately, the owner, Juan Carlos, never from day one wanted it open again. What he did, he passed the buck to us and make this council look bad. But we try to open you up, and you guys keep blaming us for the council, for the Santo Tomas being closed. We had nothing to do with it. So that's my statement today. I hope you understand. Ojalá que me entiendas. Okay. You want to say in Spanish, Camilo? Camilo, would you say that in Spanish? You want to say more or less what I said so he can understand me? Or you to Mr. Arvizo.
I didn't take notes, but
Just tell him that it's not our fault. It was a fault of the owner. The owner of the Santo Tomas never from day one wanted it open. He passed the buck to us.
bueno, lo que el concejal Morris Rising, y no me le estoy ayudando a traducir esto, es de que pues el concilio no tuvo que ver nada en la situación que pasó con Santo Tomás, verdad que el dueño nos pasó o les pasó la culpa, ¿no? al concilio, pero que trataron de trabajar, pero desafortunadamente pues no se pudo hacer nada. Y pues esto fue decisión de más que todo del señor Juan Carlos, en cuestiones resumidas, pero bueno, ese es el mensaje del señor Morris Rice.
Thank you. And also, I want to emphasize that us 5 councilmen have been working together. We are united. We've always been united, and that's why we get things done in Calexico. So I thank you very much. Next. Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
So move.
Okay, clerk, roll call, please.
Mayor Adrola Fernandez is absent. Mayor Pro Tem Risen.
Aye.
Councilmember Pacheco.
Aye.
Councilmember Garcia.
Aye.
Councilmember Hodge.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-1.
Thank you. Okay, Make a motion to approve 3 and 4.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Pro Tem, Risen,
Here? Yes. Aye.
Councilmember Pacheco,
Aye.
Councilmember Garcia,
Aye.
Councilmember Hodge,
Aye.
Mayor Arreola Fernandez is absent. Motion passes 4-1.
Okay, we have discussion and potential action items. The title, okay, I'll ask for staff report from the city manager. Okay, adopt a resolution authorizing the city of Calexico to enter into a funding agreement with the state of California Department of Water Resource and approval of a professional service agreement with Mr. Jose L. Angel to provide project management and administrative services for the New River Improvement Project.
Thank you very
Miguel?
much, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, members of the community. What we have here in front of you is another step to reach the ultimate milestone, which is making sure that we deliver to our community the 3 infrastructure projects identified in the New River Improvement Strategic Plan, specifically for the Calexico Reach, or Reach 1 as we identify it. Why is this such an important step? As we recall, the $28 million that have been secured and that will be coming in the form of this agreement to the city of Calexico through the Department of Water Resources stems from the decision of the Governor of California to approve a budget which included $18 million in general fund monies for this project, in addition to $10 million from Prop 68 that got adopted in 2018. As a result of this combination, for which I would also want to acknowledge the work of the Salton Sea Authority, is that we have right now in our hands the opportunity for this council to consider adopting a resolution that would allow for the city of Calexico to develop and sign a funding agreement with the Department of Water Resource. So what's going to happen next? We have a very ambitious timeline here, for which we want the funding agreement to be completed by December 31st. How so? Because that will give us 2021 to move forward in implementing the processes to get construction going on the 3 infrastructure projects here, a few feet away from us, south of the 2nd Street Bridge. As a result of this, given the daunting task that it will be to manage this project and making sure that the proper individuals are part of our team, it is being also requested that Mr. Jose Angel, who is a retired state employee, who served as the executive officer for the Regional Water Quality Control Board, Region 7, the Colorado River Basin, be designated as the project manager to work in tandem with myself, the city manager, in carrying out the opportunity that the Imperial Irrigation District, the County of Imperial, Cal EPA, the California Natural Resources Agency, and Assemblyman Eduardo Garcia have placed on us the trust to be the lead agency and carry this project forward. At this moment, again, to emphasize and be clear, this would allow us to move forward, complete the funding agreement by the end of calendar year 2020.
Any questions from the council?
I just think that it's very important that we approve this ordinance, and I'm happy that Calexico has taken the lead in this. It's a feather in our cap, so it's very important.
Mr. Angel is well aware of all the issues and all the problems we've had with this project, and I'm sure that he is well informed and he knows what's going on, and I think he'll be a good consultant for us to carry on the duties of consultant, and it's a good choice.
Anybody else?
Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes.
if you allow me, I want to take this opportunity to also inform this council and the community that is part of our continuous efforts to inform the community. Tomorrow, we will be holding a community forum in which we're going to be providing a status update report on the project. Comité Cívico del Valle, a local nonprofit, a local community grassroots organization, is going to be stepping up and assisting this effort by providing a screen and speakers at Nosotros Park, so people from our community can go in their vehicle and attest the presentation that the City of Calexico, through my office, the Department of Water Resource, through the staff that I'm working with, and the Assemblyman Eduardo Garcia are going to give as part of this update report to the community. Tomorrow, the time is 5:30 tomorrow. We have an invitation that our staff, both our city clerk and our recreation manager, have posted the invitation on our social media, in addition to our city website. So you can find the Zoom link for such presentation at our website, on social media, and our other media outlets that are promoting the event. So I would just like to make that invitation, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. Great job. Do I have a motion?
Yes, I'll make a motion to approve this item.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Mayor Pro Tem Bryson,
Aye.
Councilmember Pacheco,
Aye.
Councilmember Garcia,
Aye.
Councilmember Hodge,
Aye.
Mayor Adriana Fernandez is absent. Motion passes 4-1.
Next item, adopt the budget amendment resolution for allocation of resources of development impact fees, funds.
This is an item that I have been sharing individually and as a group with City Council. Also at the staff level, we've had 3 meetings to bring this item to your attention for consideration. The City of Calexico, for years now, has accumulated the dividends received of impact fees from development projects in the City of Calexico. As a result of that, we've seen that money accumulate. What we're bringing to your attention right now in the form of a budget amendment resolution is for us as a city to be able to use these accumulated funds to carry out capital projects specifically tied to the funds that we've identified on page 2 of our staff report. They specifically are for library, parks and recreation, parking, general government, traffic, and police. There are dollar amounts assigned to each of these funds that have been accumulated again through the collection of impact fees of projects that have been developed in Calexico. I want to be very clear that these are not general fund monies. No, this is not touching general fund. Specifically, this is impact fee monies that we're asking that this council give us the opportunity to carry out the purpose of why we collect these monies, which is to specifically do capital projects, specifically for each of the funds that are listed here. If there are any questions or comments, I would be more than happy to answer them.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes.
If I may. I see that there is parks and recreation, there's a substantial amount, and just like for the other areas also. One of the things that I would like to really look at, and I know we have a lot of needs, but as we get these monies, make sure that we spend them, we put them out there. So, but for example, Nosotros Park, I know tomorrow we're gonna have this event. You said at 5:30?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Right? So I know that Nosotros Park, doesn't have any lights, or at least I haven't seen them on since the time that I came in, and even before that. And I'll get into my soapbox, later on. But so I go into the parking lot, the lights are off, or they don't work. So maybe we can put some money into that, bringing up the lights, putting up the lights, repairing that the gate, that it's not working. It looks like someone hit it. Now it can't be closed. So again, if we can put some of that money, or some of this money into that, I think that will make a huge difference. Then also on the other side by the softball fields, there's a gate also that leads into the parking lot of the softball field. It's always open. And pretty much people come and go as they please. And that's, during the daytime, that's the need. That's the reason, why the gate should be open. But I think at night they should be closed. Because we know that area also there's a lot of other activity. So if we can just put some of this money there, or hopefully consider that, putting up lighting, fixing the fences, the gates. I know that the fence has a lot of holes also as people go down the river bank. I know that's something. I know that probably this won't be enough for that. But if we can just spread it around, I think that would be great, if we can do some of that.
Absolutely, it's a point well taken, Councilman Garcia.
Along those same lines, Mr. Figueroa, what's lacking to finish Cordova? What can we utilize some of these monies to tie some loose ends over there?
So, Cordova Park at this moment right now, and I've shared this in some of our internal reporting with the council, is the lighting project that was approved a few months ago is going to go up. The reason that there have been some delays in that is just because in general, given the situation we're going through, there's a lot of back orders on material. That's been one of the biggest reasons why that's lagged. However, if I'm not mistaken, last week I reported that we were within 10 to 14 days of initiating that project. Once that's done, Mr. Pacheco, we would actually be looking at doing some of the amenities that the park is going to require. So there is, as our finance director, Ms. Lovatos, has shared with us in the past, there's the Bravo Rodiles CFD that's partially paying for that, besides other monies that have been already been allocated in our current budget to make those improvements. At the end of the day, what we're looking is to have a state-of-the-art facility. One of the reasons why, and this goes to something Councilman Garcia mentioned, Legion Park, the softball fields on Cesar Chavez Boulevard, we heard it loud and clear from our community. Please don't take those fields away until the city finishes Cordova Park. So that is something that we're holding to, and that's something that we will do. Therefore, the importance, obviously, of finishing Cordova Park, because we know we have an economic development opportunity, obviously, on the Cesar Chavez corridor. However, we're taking it a step at a time. We're not going to move forward specifically on those fields until we finish Cordova Park.
Good deal. The parking on First Street belongs to the city. Have we repaved that one where the Lions, that parking lot I'm talking about?
Actually, yes, I do precisely know where that's at, and that's actually something right now that our city clerk and myself are working with the federal government, because several months ago, the city council took action to enter into a real estate transaction on a portion of that with the federal government. So the answer is yes. We haven't closed that transaction. What we can do is see how much of that land is still going to be the city's, and if there is a need to address, obviously, the blighted area there of that parking lot, we could certainly entertain that. One of the things that I wish to add to this item is when I introduced this item, I mentioned that we had 3 meetings at the staff level. Why? Because I and the finance director met with the department heads for which these funds apply. Why? Because they are the ones that on a continuous basis get informed by the community or businesses some of the needs that need to get addressed. So we got a head start in identifying some of those projects that we need to actually perform. As a matter of fact, we took it a step further. The finance director, the police chief, our public works manager, and myself actually drove around the city, anticipating and preparing ourselves for this day. if this council is to move forward with this bar. So on our end, what we'll do is take your feedback, add that to the priority list that my department heads have already made, and we will determine how it is that we proceed, as Councilman Garcia mentioned, with the limited resources. We wish we could tackle every problem. We're going to go as far as the money take us.
This is great, because it's money that is there and we need to use it. But, it will be great also if somehow, we can get some ideas. I know I just shared some of the things that I've seen, and, like you just said also, I go around the city, daily, and I see the need, I talk to people call me, and they express needs, concerns. So I know I don't want to micromanage. I don't want to make this longer or more tedious than it has to be. But it's just maximizing the resources. I know that the list of at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different categories where we can use this money. They all have needs. Libraries, we know that they need a fresh new coat of paint at least. And some other work. Parks and Rec, we know that also. Parking, Councilman, Pacheco just mentioned that. And going back to Nosotros Park, as you go in, there's a big pothole, that you have to fill in hopefully before tomorrow, as you go past the gate. So things like that, but again, if you have some ideas, I know that, as department heads, you know what is needed. You get the complaints also, or the concerns from the citizens. But it would be nice if
Councilman Garcia, I can definitely put on the table for all of us to consider a hybrid approach in which we can factor in the input of City Council on top of what staff is sharing with me, and we can create a mechanism in which we identify which projects get funded. You brought up a good point about Nosotros Park. I can share with you after visiting some of the areas in the city that we also have. For example, the parking lot at the Kennedy Gardens Park also needs a touch-up, right? So, and we can go on and on. We know. But my point here is that we can definitely address what you bring to the table in making sure that we create a way where we're inclusive and factor in all the projects that we need to tackle in the city.
I have a question here on the Cordova Park.
Yes, sir.
The lighting was approved about 4 or 5 months ago at $755,000. My question is that price going to be frozen, or are they going to ask for change orders afterwards because they're waiting so long?
No, Mr. Risen, actually that's something that our Public Works Department is on top of, and that is actually something that we've already addressed. And besides the delay due to external factors outside of our control, the price tag remains as is. And you rightfully mentioned what we are looking to avoid is having to come back and, unless there are emergency items that surface that require your attention, stay away from those change orders.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve the item.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Risen,
Aye.
Councilmember Pacheco,
Aye.
Councilmember Garcia,
Aye.
Councilmember Hodge,
Aye.
Mayor Arreola Fernandez is absent. Motion passes 4-1.
Okay, item 7, resolution approving and adopting an amended conflict of interest code pursuant to the Political Reform Act of 1974. City Manager?
Mayor Pro Tem, council members, members of the community, this is a biennial item. We brought it to your attention in 2018. We need to do it again. Why? Because we need to make sure that our conflict of interest code is up to date. Specifically, the change that comes for this year is the fact that some of the economic interest statements that we are required to provide our city clerk can now be included in the electronic form.
Right.
So as you can see clearly in the red line attachment to this item, we clearly identify the change. And at this point right now, our city clerk is something that she carefully stays on top of every 2 years. And then again, here we are making sure that we have an up-to-date conflict of interest code.
Yeah, it's something we do annually.
Any other questions?
I'll make a motion to approve item number 7.
Is there a second?
Second.
City Clerk, roll call, please.
Mayor Potem Bryson?
Aye.
Councilmember Pacheco?
Aye.
Councilmember Garcia?
Aye.
Councilmember Hodge?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-1. Mayor Arreola Fernandez is absent.
Thank you. Going to item 8, design service agreement between the City of Calexico and Horrocks Engineering Incorporated for structural assessment of the Calexico Water Tower located at 352 East First Street, Calexico.
This item takes us back to last year. There was an item that was brought to the attention of the City Council in which we put out a request to see who would be the interested parties in acquiring the water tank here in Calexico. Back in 1949, the water tank did serve as water storage for the City of Calexico. As the decades passed, that ceased to be the purpose of the water tower. Then it evolved and it turned into a structure in which wireless antennas were leased by companies to provide, obviously, wireless services. At that point, and as the nature of just the evolution of the tower, there was the need to do some repairs, specifically bolting down one of the legs of the water tower. As a result of that, a decision was made by this body to consider and enter into a purchase agreement with a company by the name of SBA. When this city administration began to negotiate, obviously, given the age of the tower, there was an item that was discussed and brought forth in which we issued an RFP September 2nd of this year to do a structural engineering assessment on the tower. As a result of that, we received the proposals. We received 7 proposals in total. What was agreed upon with SBA was that the city would absorb the cost of such assessment. In other words, deducting the cost of the assessment from the purchase sale price of the water tower. As a result of that, right now, staff is making a recommendation, and this recommendation not only comes from the city manager, but also from our in-house engineer, our acting city engineer, and our public works department, to select Horrocks firm as the one that conducts the structural engineering assessment. Out of the top 3 proposals that were scored, Horrocks complied with all the elements called for in the RFP. At this point right now, as you have seen in your staff report, there is one task that's to be completed, which we need to do, and that task comes at a cost of $22,000, and that is the actual assessment and report that's going to get produced. However, as noted in the staff report, there is a possibility, depending on what the report tells us, that we would have to do task 2, and that is actually doing the formal plans and specifications of what those improvements would be, and that would also come at an additional cost. We first need to do task 1, see what results from that. Based on that, we'll know if we need to go and perform the second task. At this point right now, this is where we stand in the process. It's been a long process, but we've made sure to cover every angle and make sure that nothing slips through the cracks, just because it's a very sensitive matter. Let's not forget that the water tower for our community is an iconic figure, which we want to make sure that we maintain that way. And therefore, we want to make sure that we do this transaction the proper way.
Any questions?
Yeah, questions. So on the first phase, we will be able to know if there's any work that needs to be done to this structure and the level of work that will require.
Yes, and for the record, I want to make a correction. Task 1 with Herox is going to come at a cost of $16,532. The $22,000 figure would be for Task 2. Yes, Mr. Garcia, the first task would actually give us a very clear perspective if we are to engage in specifically identifying other repairs to the water tower.
Yeah, because I would like to just know the extent, as to where we stand on this transaction. If it is worth, investing that kind of money, or maybe in revisiting this item at a later date. Because if we're gonna do something where we stand to, get some funding, at least, let that funding not be compromised in repairs, but rather more on as much as we can get. If that was the case, or at least that would be my concern, to make sure that we are looking out to gain as much as we can and spend as least as we can in doing any repairs or any type of work that needs to be done.
Absolutely.
Any questions? Check.
No, it's got to be done, and the staff has recommended that Horrock be selected as the company to do the tier task 1, task 2, possibly in task 3. So I make a motion that we provide the design service agreement between the City of Calexico and Horrocks Engineering for structural assessment of the Calexico Water Tower located at 352 East First Street.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
First and second, roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Bison,
Aye.
Councilmember Pacheco,
Aye.
Councilmember Garcia,
Aye.
Councilmember Hodge,
Aye.
Mayor Ariela Fernandez is absent. Motion passes 4-1.
Okay, we come into the future agenda items. Anybody have any items to put on?
Not aye, sir.
I just have a few, maybe agenda items or something to consider for the future, near future, or as soon as possible. And I warned you that I was gonna get on my soapbox, so allow me. So, and I'm gonna try to also do it in Spanish, so extra time, please. So anyway, for the last, months, and not just months, one of the things that I do, it's go out and look around our city. And we all know that there's a lot of work that needs to be done and ways that we need to do. And resources are not there, not as much as we need. But I know that we need to prioritize. And I'm happy to see, that we just approved this funding to be used in these 6 categories. But also, we need to go back and see something that has been actually voiced by many of our citizens and even ourselves, downtown, and that's something that I pass by every day, and that I literally, sometimes I'm hands-on, and not because I want a pat in the back, but the alley between Heffernan and Rockwood on First Street, I mean, it's always dirty, boxes, bags, the gates are always open, the locks are broken all the time, and and other things that happen there, people, relieving themselves there. So again, this is something that has come up a few times in different media, social media, talking to people one-on-one. But I think it's all of us also that need to look out for each other. Sometimes we just pass by and see someone, doing what they're doing and just continue to walk by. So at least just say, well, let's at least have some courtesy. That's one thing. But also, what I want to bring up, to this whole thing that I'm saying, in that alley, it is my understanding that the bid has some money. So I would like to see if we can maybe install some lights, or additional lights. I think there's a need for lights. I think there's a need also to put additional gates at some of that other alleys. I think that's the only alley that is always an issue, because the other ones are always closed, they're clean. So we need to make sure that, again, lighting is installed, maybe some cameras, something that will deter the activity that is happening. And I know we have to look into other issues as to how we can solve this issue, but we need to make sure that we do our part. We do our part. That's something that we should be proud. Our downtown. I know I came here 20 years ago, but coming in, I saw the beauty of the buildings, the architecture. Something that could be great. And I hope that we can see something happening there soon. I'm looking forward to that date, and we'll make sure to push for that. En español lo voy a decir. En los últimos días, en los últimos meses, una de las cosas que hago, pues manejo alrededor de la ciudad. Yo sé que hay muchas necesidades, yo sé que hay muchas carestías también para hacer lo que necesitamos hacer. Pero hay ciertas cosas que podemos hacer. Para empezar, tener cortesía, tener buenas maneras, buenos modales. Yo sé que ahí, principalmente en el downtown, por diferentes medios de comunicación, siempre pues sale de que está olvidado, que está abandonado, que está sucio. Y sí, bueno, ya lo vemos, está esa problemática, pero también creo que también es con nosotros, nos incumbe a nosotros también. Si pasa uno por la calle, por el callejón, entre la calle primera, entre la calle Heffernan en Rockwood, van a ver de que está el callejón con los portones abiertos, con la basura tirada, las cajas, y más cuando hace viento, se pone todavía más sucio ahí, y las personas pues haciendo sus necesidades. Y creo que pues también a veces la indiferencia de todos nosotros que pasamos ahí, y pues bueno, continuamos y no decimos nada. Creo que nomás de llamar la atención y decir, bueno, hay que tener cortesía. Pero también la otra cosa que quería decir es de que hay un fondo del Business Improvement District que quizá podríamos usar para poder instalar más luces, quizá cámaras de monitoreo, no sé, algo que va a quizá a prevenir ese tipo de situaciones que pasen ahí. Tenemos que pensar en alguna manera o en algún lugar. Creo que esta es una buena manera de empezar. Creo que y se ve en otro lugar donde hay portones que están cerrados, no hay basura, está todo en su lugar. Entonces tenemos que ver esa situación. Creo que tenemos que empezar, aunque sea por cositas pequeñas como esas, pero tienen un gran impacto. Quiero que por favor se considere en el futuro de poder accesar dinero quizás del BID para poder instalar luces, para poder quizá reemplazar los candados que se rompen, y no casi del diario, ¿verdad? Me comentaron de que lo habían instalado un lunes, el martes fui y ya estaba quebrado. Entonces, yo sé que es un cuento de nunca acabar, pero tenemos que buscar una solución que sea duradera. Y eso es lo que quiero que se vea de ya.
And Councilman Garcia, I appreciate you following up, doing the duties, which I have been doing for 18 months. I thank you very much. Todd?
Yes, this is nothing new. I know I'm stepping down, but I really hope that it will be considered and executed in due time, at the appropriate time, a master plan for lighting throughout the whole city. An assessment of areas that are dark, unsafe, and I know it can be costly, but safety is at stake here. The other item that I've been bringing up pertains to downtown, and that is to clean or replace the trash cans on the streets of downtown. They're filthy, and they need to either be replaced, or I don't know how you could clean them up, but it's just not sanitary or healthy to have them in that condition. So those two items I hope are pursued. Thank you.
You handled it. You handled it.
Oh, did I? Thank you. Okay, so at this time at 7:45, I adjourn the meeting.
Excellent job,